Hi, welcome back to another episode of Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Xiomara Washington, and I'm here with our guest, Rachel Drosdick-Sigafoos. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
So my first question for you, having previously served as an assistant coach for track and field and swimming and diving, what aspects of your experience do you think will benefit you in your new role as head coach?
So I think one of the biggest crossovers, track and field and swimming and diving both are very complex in terms of the physics. Physics is something that I come back to all the time. The water is very unforgiving. And what a lot of people confuse with swimming is that the louder your swim is, the faster you're going. The physics is the opposite of that, that the gentler you are in the water, the more efficient you are in the water, the faster you are and the more energy you have to expend at the end of your race when everyone else is dying off. It's also interesting because both track and swimming are co-gender sports, which really changes the nature of how a team practices and how they compete. There's a different balance. There's a different level of communication that happens when you're coaching both men and women. So I think a lot of those things help to feed like the optimal experience for the athletes.
And I have like a little bit of a follow-up question. So what kind of drew you back to come back here? Because I know you've been gone for so long.
Yeah, so I had stopped coaching in 2016 to go and work in mental health for a while. That was while I was pursuing my PhD and finished that in 2022, May of 2022. And that was a really powerful experience because it made me step back from everything I know about the physiology of movement and kinesiology and into what is the science of wellness? How do you really get someone's optimal performance out of them? That time away from coaching really changed my perspective on moving away from what we often see with coaches, which is very like a control-based or a fear-based coaching mentality, to you are best, you compete your best, you train your best when you are a well individual. How do we get you well so that you can achieve what you see for yourself?
So I wanted to first congratulate you on the win and a successful senior day ceremony. So how would you evaluate the performance of the women and men's swimming team against Lebanon Valley College?
That was a really exciting day. It's our last dual meet before we go to championships next week. And so it was our final time to do some on events that they may not be racing at championships, but also to get some confidence swims. We had people go. We had a bunch of season bests. We also had a bunch of lifetime bests at that meet, which seeing people realize like how things are gelling together and getting them to see what I've been able to see for them all season long. It was incredible to have Brendan Alvino break that 100 freestyle pool record. He's been chasing that for like a year and a half. So like get that monkey off your back. We had some seniors who went lifetime bests in events they won't be swimming at champs, which is so rewarding, especially for the seniors to be able to give them the opportunity on their senior day to have their best performances of their life or their season. That was so rewarding. But I think my favorite part was to just see how well that this team has come together and embraced a culture of like, we're in this together, like you ride together, you die together. They've been working so hard to build a culture that everybody feels like they have a piece of and that they want to be a part of. And that has created a team culture that just to stand on the outside and watch it happen and watch them embrace like creativity and exploration and being able to dare and fail, but feel good about the daring and learn something from it. I saw all of that day. And honestly, the end of it, I just felt so gratified as a coach that I got to be along for the ride with them.
With your extensive background in coaching, like what do you consider to be the key factors for a successful swimming and diving team?
Coaching now, I want them to be like, okay, like try better, fail better. Like that didn't work, that doesn't feel right. But also be willing to say out loud, like, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm a coach that I want them to ask questions. If I can't explain to you why we're doing something, we probably don't have a good enough reason to be doing it. So coaching wise, it's leaning into their strengths. Really not coming down on difficulties, but rather saying like, okay, how do we massage that a little bit? How do we work around that? Or what do we need to do to just lift that up? And then communication, training with track and swimming is a conversation between an athlete and a coach. I'm having conversation when I give them a workout. I need them to come back to me and tell me this is what it felt like, this is what I felt like I got out of it, but especially with the rate of injuries with swimmers, this is how my shoulders are feeling, and when do we need to pull back so that we're keeping them healthy.
So, as your team looks ahead to the Landmark Conference Championships, what are your expectations and goals for the remainder of the season?
Yeah, my expectations, it's going to sound so fluffy, but I just want them to stand there on Sunday night after championships are over and say, especially as the seniors, I became the swimmer I always knew that I could be. And for the upperclassmen to have that happy but never satisfied feeling of, that went really well. That also lights a fire in me to know that with another year of this type of training, another year with this type of coach, I can get even faster than that.
I just want to say I wish you the best of luck on your next game, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you
for tuning in for another episode of Coach's Corner.